What's up, guys? This is Dave from The Disorderly, joined once again by our good buddy, Mr. Andrew Volpe.
Hey, guys.
So today we're going to kind of break down our top favorite films of the year. We tried to kind of do a top 10, but we were both going kind of way over in terms of, how we kind of saw the year. I think we both kind of agreed, and we've talked a little bit about it. I don't know what his list is. He doesn't know what mine is, but we kind of discussed, like, nothing was insane. Nothing was like a consensus, incredible top 1-2 movies. So there were a bunch of movies that we really enjoyed, but there was nothing that was, something that just was kind of, absolutely beat you over the head with it, or at least that we saw. So we kind of decided to, rather than do kind of a traditional top 10, kind of talk about our favorite films as they kind of released through the year. So we're going to kind of go through the films as they released over the calendar year of 2018. So we're going to start, obviously, January, February, March, April, and kind of move our way through the year. That way, there's the guaranteed overlap in our lists. We'll be able to kind of talk about at the same time, instead of having to do that weird thing where you kind of like, well, it's number 2 on my list, but it's number 8 on yours. So we'll talk about it in the 8th slot or the 2. Like it gets weird. So we decided to let's just talk about it by release date. And then at the end, we'll kind of recap and kind of go back and go, okay, of these, what were our kind of, top 1-2 films, things like that. So, without further ado, the top on my list, and we've each got somewhere in like the 15 to 16 range, something like that, right?
Yeah, close to it. Give or take.
I think I have 15.
I might have closer to like 17, maybe
right,
18.
Yeah. That's fine. That's all good.
After we got rid of the top 10 and we didn't have to do it itemized.
Why shackle ourselves by the chains of traditional bullshit top 10 lists? You know what I mean? What are we, BuzzFeed?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish, bro. I wish. Get that sweet, sweet BuzzFeed money. But, alas, you know what I mean?
People need ordered lists. Otherwise, it's too chaotic. They they can't understand the world unless we, categorize it for them or whatever.
It is crazy, though. You know what I mean? Like, when you, like, I've been in the game, not for the Disorderly, not my own project, but like other things for years, of how people's the psychology of people crave lists and order and countdowns because it drives discussion,
right,
and things like that. So unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to do that. We're just gonna talk about a bunch of movies we really enjoyed.
I think this is good though, because like this, we might talk about some things that otherwise we would have left out because they just. Because for me, when we were originally coming up with a top 10, I had my top 10 list, and then I had like a list of at least 10 movies that almost made the cut but didn't quite, that I just kind of wanted to shout out. So now I've kind of rolled most of those into this list. There was like you were saying, there wasn't as many like, whoa, my God, like blew my mind.
There was no Last Jedi or something, you know what I mean? Something we all loved universally so much.
Right? Sarcasm aside, that's not as awful a movie as everyone makes it out to be. I'm waiting for the Twitter death threats, but I think there was a lot of smaller interesting movies, and I didn't realize, like, we were talking about how there were some movies that you kind of forget or even came out this year, so it's kind of good that we had this little period to kind of like look back on things that came out, because there were some really interesting ones, smaller ones,
Right, and I think my list, as we get into it, it's like, oh God, this is like a Unabomber's wish list of just, just not a huge year for. Oh, I mean, it's just it's like horror, sci-fi, horror, sci. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's
hey, that's cool though. Like, nothing.
Yeah,
That's where all the creativity is at these days.
Yeah, and then Paddington 2 just in the middle of it, just blow the whole thing wide open. I'm kidding. Paddington didn't make the list. Didn't see it.
Oh, but Paddington 2 did make the list?
No, of course not. But, nothing against Paddington 2. It just didn't squeak into my a lot of good movies.
Not our demo.
Well, but just, a lot of people are saying that's one of the best films of the year, and I don't doubt it. I just haven't.
Have you seen it? So you haven't seen it, you said, or
I have not.
I think
seen
I got
it,
coaxed into seeing the first one, and I think it actually did turn out to be better. You know, like if there's a movie that you just have no interest in, it doesn't mean it's going to be bad or whatever. Like, you know, sometimes
I'm almost fascinated by it because people are like, no, dude, you don't understand. Paddington 2?
Yeah.
That might be the best comedy of the year.
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding.
Paddington 2 is the second coming of all, you know, it is the savior of all.
I watched something where they were like, Paddington 2 will remind you of the faithfulness of humanity and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? Okay. All right. Well, maybe I got to check it out. You know what I mean? When I,
you will gouge your eyes out after seeing this movie because nothing will ever match its beauty.
Well, it's about a bear that goes to jail. So I was like, you know what? I don't know.
Wouldn't it be great if it ended up being like a really dark, like Paddington has to like join a gang and like, you know, shiv someone so he doesn't become somebody's bitch. Like it's
Paddington fought off the mothers. The mothers. He tried to fight them off.
Oz
but, you know,
for Paddington or something.
Couldn't always, you know. Yeah, exactly. And he's getting tattooed somebody's name on his ass or something.
Yeah, or he's got to get like the teardrops and the spider webs and everything like that.
Yeah. Having a bear roommate in prison would be pretty rough, though. I bet. You know what I mean?
I would imagine. I mean,
he's smaller, and he likes marmalade and jam and stuff and toast. That's all I know.
Sure, he likes marmalade and jam. That's prison lingo.
Well,
you don't want to go into that.
We've certainly taken a turn here.
Yeah.
That I think we should.
So just as you expected with our top 10, we began with talking about bear prison rape, and and it's all uphill from here, folks.
Yep. So moving on, and you know, with that, you know, I assume the first movie on your list is Sorry to Bother You, January 20th.
Actually, you know, because we suddenly did it chronologically last minute, and I kind of added these other movies that weren't going to make the cut originally. I got 2 before Sorry to Bother You.
Holy shit.
But they both came out, I assume they all came out around like festival season, because the first one came out January 18th and then the next 2 came out the day after. So but
well, don't make me hold my breath any longer. What do we got?
So my first one was Private Life, which was directed by Tamara Jenkins, and it's that it's Paul Giamatti and Catherine Hahn, and it was one of these Netflix only releases. Like, it's a smaller movie. I think Tamara Jenkins directed Slums of Beverly Hills back in the day, and The Savages, which people say is great, but I've never actually seen it. And this is like one of those movies that I love indie movies, but I kind of just threw it on because I was bored and I was kind of caught off guard by how much I liked it. You know, Paul Giamatti's great in everything, and I think Catherine Hahn is like one of the most underrated actresses working. Like,
all I've seen her in is Bad Moms and A Bad Mom's Christmas.
She's got range. Like, I mean, she plays that
beyond a bad mom.
She plays that comedy, like, kind of bitchy in your face chick a lot, but she plays the whole spectrum of it, and so
I think she was in a Hyundai commercial too.
Really? Probably.
She was in some hybrid commercial I saw the other day.
She was in. I think she got her start on Mad Men or like one of those period things or something.
Really?
Right. She. But yeah. So and there's nothing much to say there. It's just a really personal look. It's about this couple that are desperately trying to either adopt or conceive, and they're kind of getting on in years a little bit. Like, I think Giamatti's pushing 50, and
Paul Giamatti isn't a day younger than 65, though, right? Isn't he old as shit?
I don't know. I mean, he's looked like he's 65 for the last 20 years.
Since 1994.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that as soon as he turned 25, like he just looked like he was in his 40s.
Because I really like Giamatti on Billions.
I've still never seen Billions.
Oh my god, it's great.
He plays Billions, right? He's the Billions.
He plays Billions. What are you talking? Billions is not a character.
No, I know, that's the thing everyone always brings up. Like, who plays Billions again?
Who's the Billions?
Yeah,
who's the Deadwood? Are you
Who's
the Deadwood?
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's watch Billions.
It's good. Yeah,
it's good.
My parents say the same thing. So
yeah, it's your dad would love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my dad does love it.
See, Andrew, this is. And by the way,
man.
Mr. Volpe's dad is basically the dad on Big Mouth. If you guys like, it's like it's scary
the
how much he's
eating. The scallops eating dad.
Just the peach bit. It was a sucker's dream.
Oh,
Andrew. You know what I mean? Just screaming it.
The fact that his kid's name is Andrew always.
Oh, it just. I think that's what really seals it for me. But just kind of the, and just an aside and Big Mouth. If you're out there, Nick Kroll, you want to just steal this. But I mean, were we still in? I know we were in high school. Were we in college when your parents would write up the lists?
Oh yeah, that was high school, but my dad would leave ordered lists taped to every single door and window in the house, saying
his entire house would be covered
Yeah.
in like reminder lists printed out on just printer paper.
Like 20 things that needed to be. Yeah, 20 things that you
flush
needed to
the
have
toilet.
Yeah.
Turn off the stove.
Make sure the coffee maker is off. Make sure the doors are in the minus position so that they're
What is the
unlocked.
Minus position?
It's like, I don't know. It's not even worth explaining, but it's just super duper like not only just super anal lists of things that nobody would ever care about, but also like very condescendingly written, like as though you're a total moron,
like a small child.
Yeah.
We would steal the lists and like treasure them. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
we would keep them
because we would throw they would leave for trips and then we'd throw parties. And
we would throw insane parties at this house that's covered in lists of things that you should not be doing. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, that just made for all the more fun as you were doing something that was on the list that you weren't supposed to be doing.
No, it was we would throw unspeakable high school parties at this home, and it was just covered in lists of like, please make sure to turn off the water after you use the sink, stuff like that.
Yeah. I think that was actually the reason why we threw the party, because just out of spite or something.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
But, all right, moving on. I do remember that trailer, though. I never saw it, but I do remember that trailer.
Some of these I'm probably just going to, like, talk a little bit about and then move on so we're not spending all year talking about this. But, yeah, so Private Life is really good. It's that typical type of Woody Allen, selfish New Yorkers.
New York, yeah.
Yeah, they're artists, that whole thing. But it's actually really good. I'd suggest it, It's a good thing to watch with your date on a night when you're bored and trying to feel a little bit intelligent. I liked it. It was very good for what it was trying to do. And then the next movie I have, which came out January 19th, was American Animals, which I thought was like a really good, underrated movie from earlier this year. That was another one that I kind of totally forgot about until we were digging, when we had to come up with these lists, and it took me a day or two to remember that I saw it. But yeah,
that's one that was on my list of wanted to sees. Didn't really make it.
Yeah, I feel like you would like it. It's got Evan Peters. It's got the creepy kid from Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Right.
And like one or two other like kind of up and coming youngsters. And I like the idea about it. It's based on a true story of a bunch of kids in, I forgot what it was. It was like the University of like Tennessee or something that happened to house the oldest and most expensive books in the U.S., which were, I think they were some sort of ancient biological, books from like the 1500s, 1800s, something like that. Darwin. I think it was Darwin's books or something. So they hatched this kind of like cockamamie plan to steal the books, and of course things don't go well. But the thing I thought was really interesting about the movie was the way they do it is, and I didn't realize this from the trailer, is the movie is like kind of half documentary. So it does that American Splendor thing where you have actors playing the characters that were real life people, but then they'll also bring in the real life people to commentate on scenes as they're happening. So he'll a scene will play out and then someone will be like, well, they kind of embellished this part or so and so, like having the actual people there tell their story actually added a lot to the movie. It's just kind of fun the way it plays with the narrative a lot too. Like there's like a little sequence where they talk about like, oh yeah, this is how the heist is going to go. So it goes into a fantasy sequence, and it suddenly turns into like clearly like an Ocean's 11 parody, like about like, oh, it's so going to be so easy, and like, you know, it's going to be funny, and like everyone's going to fall in love with us because we're so charismatic. And then you get the harsh reality of what happens when they actually try to do it. So it's really good. I'm definitely interested to see what else this guy does, because it was kind of a nice under the radar hit for me.
Cool.
But so yeah, now I'm at sorry to bother you.
Yeah, you know, and I'm just like, all right, let's think about this, because we gotta have to be a little bit delicate with this one, because I think the biggest, I mean, I don't want to get too spoilery, like overall,
right,
like
right.
I don't want to, you know,
if you haven't seen it, there are actually like a few big spoiler parts, and it's one of those movies where half the fun is kind of like not knowing where it's going to go next.
Yeah, so I almost, it's like my favorite part of this film doesn't happen until
I'm assuming insanity. It's the part towards the end where it makes a big left turn.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, sorry to bother you. You know, the gimmick of it was kind of funny, is that they would kind of have, you know, these guys who are kind of black, you know, telemarketers, and then they're unsuccessful speaking as they're in their typical voices, and then they start pretending to be sound super white, you know, and they joke about this, like, you know, use your white voice, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's kind of the gimmick of how the trailers were kind of sold, is like, oh, this guy, like, once he starts kind of
using
pretending to be white, and that's the humorous part, right? Yeah. So it's David Cross, and then you've got, who else was
Patton
in it?
Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt, right?
Two whitest guys you can ever think of doing the voices.
Exactly. And so the juxtaposition of, you know, of kind of the cast using the voices, and that was, you know, that's what kind of sold the trailer. Mm-hmm. And I think it works pretty well. It's a funny, smaller movie, and then when they get into the actual craziness, it runs a little bit long.
Yeah, that was the one thing, is like, I loved the crazy that it goes into such crazy places, but like it still felt like it was like 10 minutes too, like I kind of was like hoping it would wrap up a little bit. Like, it was really cool that they add all, you know, it's really cool that they go all these different directions, but it felt like it was starting to overstay its welcome a little bit towards the end for me, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. But it's still cool. Yeah, like, I feel like that was like a minor gripe on, you know, like, the cool thing about the movie is how many different little ideas it has going on, and just like all of the style it has to spare and everything. And it's yeah, you know, it's got so many, like, you know, like, topical ideas, and just it's kind of like I don't know, like fucking like Wes Anderson, but cooler and more energetic or something, I guess.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, but
interesting. A little weird, but
yeah, for sure, one of the more unique movies I've seen in recent memory or something.
Right. And I want to say it's on Hulu now, if you want to
I think so, yeah.
Check it out. It's on Hulu. The next film on my list is February 23rd. Uh-huh. You got anybody before that?
Yeah, no, I'm same date. I actually got two that day.
Oh, damn. Well, I'm going to go, you want to go Annihilation first?
Yeah, Annihilation was my top one for sure.
Alex Garland, you know what I mean, of Ex Machina fame, and Phantom director of Dread, the good Dread.
Yeah, and not to mention a great author as well, right? Like
there he is.
He wrote The Beach and Tesseract,
Da
and
Beach.
a few things.
Yep.
Da Beach.
And I think we talked about it at length. If you want to click back through our videos from earlier this year, we read the damn book.
Read the
damn book. So we did our classic, beloved, you know, what's the difference style kind of, read the book jam.
Yeah.
You know, that we are want to do. You know what I mean? So if you want to go back and take a look and hear us kind of complain about, the differences, and I think if memory serves me correctly, I think we both much preferred the film to the book.
Yeah, I mean, I think I liked the book a little bit more than you, but like I think
I just did not dig that book.
Well, I definitely all the things they added to the movie are like vast improvements to the book. Like the book I thought was okay, but it's a small, not super energetic. It's not exactly what I would pick as a like another 2001 or whatever this movie ended up becoming. So I think the fact that like Alex Garland was kind of able to retain the essence of what the book was about, and then like totally add his own spin to it, make it something that people would remember, and just the visuals in the movie like are really truly like amazing. Like I think it's like something that's going to make it a movie that people will always look back on. It's going to be up there with the weird little indie art houses and the 2001 and stuff.
Yeah, history will remember Annihilation much more kindly, I think, than the box office and the critics and the Netflix fiasco and the whole drama of him and the financiers of the film and all that kind of stuff, because he did not want it to be released
on Netflix or whatever.
On Netflix, initially, and there was some sort of weird compromise where it was released in some theaters and not others, and then put on internationally on Netflix like right away.
Right.
So no one went to go see it.
Right.
They could obviously just watch it. So it was kind of a cluster effect.
And that's that's not the only case. I mean, we're probably not going to go into Roma too much because I think we both didn't. I same thing.
Can we just talk about Roma?
What's up?
Can we just talk about? I mean, it's not going to be on my list.
Yeah, it's not going to be on my list, but that I thought was another good case of, here's a movie that not a lot of people would probably see if it wasn't distributed on Netflix, but having it on Netflix almost like it's definitely a movie that was made to be watched in the theater, it seems like. Maybe, a lot of people have good TVs with good sound systems now, so that probably really helps.
Maybe I would have enjoyed it more in a theater, but I don't.
All that aside, I thought there was great, the guy knows how to do interesting long shots and the amount of
the huge tracking shots and stuff.
And just the whole thing with people having a dialogue scene and then somebody gets shot out of a cannon in the background, or it's funny seeing all of the parallels between that and Children of Men that came up, including the CGI dead baby. Well, I guess not dead baby, but babies and just crazy shit going on in the background. He's definitely got his thing. But I think honestly, if I had a better knowledge of Mexican politics in the 70s, that would probably help, because I felt
there's not a lot of context, for us.
But that's the thing is, I feel like I've heard people, from Mexico in that era and everything say it is a very honest depiction of that era. And there was many little things I liked in it. I liked some of the family dynamics and everything, but it's still it was one of those movies where, and I feel like this happens every year, is there's some movie that's really nice as a quiet little indie, but it gets so much Oscar love that by the time you hear about it, you're just naturally expecting it to be something huge, especially considering it's the guy that did Children of Men and Gravity and everything like that, Cuarón. You kind of expected something a little bigger, and I think it's really cool that he took this little homage and love letter to his childhood and put it on screen, but it also didn't live up to the hype for me. But but so that was definitely a case where I thought it was cool that Netflix was giving it more attention, but it that movie in particular is supposed to be visceral and everything, and I just kept on picturing people watching it on their phones and all this other stuff. So
we Ash and I were out today, and we were just driving around. We live in Southern California, so it may be a little bit different, just depending on where you're listening, where you're living. But we drove, and we saw it on the marquee of a movie theater, and we just started laughing to ourselves. You know what I mean? Because we watched it together, Ash and I. When it released, we were like, oh, here we go. This is so, let's get it rocking. Netflix made the huge push. They changed your background on Netflix to black and white and all this stuff. Let's put it on. Let's see what we got. And you're just eh.
Yeah, that's
all right.
It's I don't know. I feel like movies like that need to be just discovered on your own or something, because anybody trying to market that is probably.
Well, it's so funny, and everyone's like, well, what is the girl? I can't. Forgive me. the lead, you know, where's her career? Her career, is it going to explode after this? And I go, I don't know. Is it? Like, what are you gonna? Is she gonna be Batgirl? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is like, I don't really. I don't know. I thought it was cool, but the same thing. Like that was, in general, like, you know, trying to prepare for this podcast. Like, I kept on trying to like cram in. I don't know about you, but I felt like most of this year was like I watched a bunch of shitty popcorn movies, and then I tried to cram in a bunch of stuff in like the last 2 months of the year. So everything kind of like all the Oscar-y movies all feel like a haze to me because they all kind of came around the same time, and I feel like you're just a little bit more jaded whenever you try to watch them all back to back and everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I wish they would like. I know that's not what you do. Like you just push them out towards the winter and the fall and everything like that. But I wish it was a little bit more spread out this year.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Well, what do you got? My next is March 9th.
So I got one more for February 23rd, and
okay.
I just wanted to shout it out. It's game night. I know it's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I know it was like kind of like a straightforward comedy, but that was one that like... It was nice for me because this was like... It is really hard for me to find a movie that... like me and the whole family can watch, like you know, like on Christmas, you know, like I'm at my parents' house and it's like really hard to find something to watch that we all actually genuinely liked, and this was one of those rare movies that was like smart enough for me to enjoy. Like I thought it like had a lot of really cool commentary on the action genre and just like really great acting and character dynamics and everything and witty dialogue, but you know, it's enough. It's a cool enough of a plot that your parents can watch it and enjoy it and everything like that. So I thought that was the down the middle movie of the year for me. I
agree. Kind of the everyman kind of comedy, kind of action-y, kind of. It's what all the crappy like all the weird buddy comedies hope to be. Yeah. You know what I mean? But in this case, it was a couple. Where it's is it Bateman?
Yeah,
Patrick. No,
not Patrick. Patrick Bateman would be an awesome movie. Jason
Patrick Bateman and Jason Bateman and
Rachel McAdams.
Rachel McAdams with a great kind of cast of the supporting cast of the Friends.
Yeah.
And is it Jesse Plemons?
Yeah, Jesse Plemons is
cop?
Fucking great in that. And that's the thing is like. The movie, everything in the movie is so much better than it has any right to be. Like, it's like, this movie should be just, like, mediocre and you forget it in a week. And, like, everyone's killing it. Like, Jesse Plemons is fucking hilarious in the movie. Like, and, just totally caught me off guard. And, like, I think for that reason I appreciated it more. Because I was all ready to hate it, you know?
Yeah, no, Ash and I went... and saw it in a movie theater, and we, you know, and Ash hates people, even more than I hate people.
Oh, wow.
And we went to kind of like a crappier theater because, you know, and it was just, you know, just the kind of
people talking,
it was a packed theater, people laughing at stuff, and I immediately, I don't know about you, and if this makes me a psychopath. You know, feel free to label me as one. I'm fine with it. When you see other dumb people around you, and they're throwing their head back and laughing at everything, immediately go like, ugh?
Well, yeah, it sometimes it makes me less inclined to laugh at. Well, if it's like if they're laughing at it, sometimes, especially if you see them laugh at a bunch of really dumb jokes, if you see them then laughing at the same thing you're laughing at, I feel like you almost like catch yourself. Like, no,
exactly. No, it's like I don't know if it's a martial arts thing. I don't like to laugh in public.
Yeah,
it's like I don't do it. It's a weird thing, man. Yeah. Like I'm like,
you can't let them see you laugh, man.
Yeah, can't see him laugh. Don't let them see you sweat. Don't let them see you bleed. Don't let them see you laugh. Don't let them see you cry.
Do you do the little Japanese schoolgirl thing? Do you like cover up your like put your hand over your mouth?
That's pretty close. Yeah, that's pretty close. But all right. Anything?
You're
jumping.
Yeah. Forward? Jumping forward. Sorry. When's your next date?
March 9th.
Yeah, I also have March 9th.
You got that Thoroughbreds?
Oh fuck no!
What do you have?
Honestly, I like that movie, but it would not have made any of my tops. I thought
that's fine. I wanted to include it in my smorgasbord of delights.
I honestly totally forgot we reviewed that this year until you just mentioned it.
Well, it's a fun little jam. You know what I mean? You got is it Olivia Cook? You got Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yep.
Two kind of rising stars. The late great, homeboy,
Russian dude.
Anton
Yelchin.
Yelchin. Before he was tragically killed by his car. Starred in this film. I think it was his last movie. I think it had a budget of like less than like $10 million. You know what I mean?
It didn't make a lot of money. It felt like
you could have made it just a play. Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Kind of, taking it back to a Heather's vibe, taking it back to kind of.
Yeah.
Oh God.
All the kind of like bitchy or clueless vibe. Very good with the two lead actresses had a really nice tete-a-tete, like back and forth kind of rhythm to them, and it's so nice hearing. Yeah, it got kind of exhausting after a while, but they had that I don't know, Daria, I Hate the World,
right? Exactly.
That kind of vibe that you get when you're 17 and you hate everyone, and apparently you're super rich and everything like that.
Best way to be.
Yeah, man. May we all be like that.
Exactly. When you're super pissed and hate everything and you're dead ass broke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, you'd rather live in
I have
Connecticut.
I have everything I could ever need in front of me, so of course I hate the world.
Right. Let's kill this man that's providing my family with a standard of life that I couldn't possibly imagine.
Yeah, and sorry, go ahead.
No.
That was cool, and I thought I still thought the way they did the relationship between the dad and the kids, the dad, they did a good job. I think we had talked about it. They did a good job of making the dad make you kind of hate the dad without just with visual cues and everything. He's wearing the douchey biker shorts and
super hateable.
Yeah, just has a face you want to punch.
Hate him. All right, moving on. April 6th. What do you got?
Okay, so I got one more for. Oh man, next is April 6th, so I got two.
Next
more.
on my list, April 6th. Oh damn!
Sorry, man. I'll just give these quick shout outs.
Another
smaller movie. I kind of forgot I saw this until I had to think about it last night. But Death of Stalin, I saw, and that was actually a pretty solid movie. I really liked it.
Wanted to see it, didn't catch it.
Yeah, it's by Armando Iannucci. I think he did this movie called In the Loop a few years ago that I never saw. That was
another political weird kind of movie like this, where it's kind of behind the scenes of a political. Yeah,
it's mostly people talking.
Wasn't James Gandolfini
he was a general
in it and all this stuff, right?
I think I think he's a British guy actually, so most of the cast is British, but they have a good amount of American actors in it too. And this is the same case with this. It's supposed to be about the, as they say in the title, it's the days immediately after Stalin died, and but the entire cast is most of the people in it are British, except it's also got
everyone's speaking English.
Yeah, and except it's also got Steve Buscemi and what's his name from Arrested Development, the dad. So just by having those people in the movie, it's going to be really well acted and kind of funny and everything, and it's basically what it is, and it's a nice amount of dark humor too. A lot of the jokes come from very passing comments about mass executions and stuff like that. They were talking about how after Stalin dies, they have trouble finding a doctor that can confirm that he's dead because they had already executed all the good doctors and all this other shit. So it's pretty cool. It's a nice little movie. I probably would not have checked it out had I not seen it at a film festival, and I did really like it, so that's why I'm putting it on the list.
All right.
And then another thing, just want to give a quick little shout out to Isle of Dogs, which came out March 23rd. Wes Anderson, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because his style has been parodied so many times. I feel like I underestimate him all the time. I feel like I hear a new Wes Anderson movie's coming out, I roll my eyes, and then I'll see it on TV later, and I'll be like, "Holy shit, this is amazing!" And it happens every time. So I same thing happened with Isle of Dogs. I thought this was going to be another twee little Wes Anderson adventure, and it kind of was. But man, he's like really fucking good at it. So, and I am impressed by the craftsmanship and the patience it must have taken to do all this.
Oh my
claymation.
God!
Yeah.
I just can't. Yeah, that's one I saw the first half of it.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get back into it.
Yeah.
But from what I saw, I enjoyed, and it's it's certainly it's a little bit darker. You know what I mean? In a way, and it's about animals. You know what I mean? So it's gonna hit people a certain way.
Yeah. Yeah. There might
sometimes
be triggers or something.
Yeah. Oh, I'm triggered already. You know
right.
what I mean? But. Yeah. I can't imagine. I've watched. I love to watch kind of the behind the scenes stuff on YouTube that you see of like, here's how we made the sushi scene, or here's how we did this or that, and you're like oh my god,
a factory
dude.
of 25,000 Japanese people were making all of these figurines out of.
Well, it's like one guy from like Wales. You know what I mean? It's like just some one guy, and I'm like, how are you not just an insane person, dude?
They probably are. Like, I mean, when
what I
you
mean?
actually see the interviews with them, like, half of them are...
like,
sorry?
No, I agree. It's just like, how can you possibly be sane after doing that?
Oh, man, I don't know.
When Wes goes, you know what? It's like 36 hours of work.
Yeah, and then
for like a 4-second clip or something.
And then they want you to do it again because it's
could you do it like a little different?
And it's like, we can't do it in a computer because we're trying to do it all organically, or like it's like everything has to be done the hardest, most painstaking way possible. So you get props for just doing that. You know what I mean?
No, major props. Can't believe anyone else really attempts to make movies like that anymore, but
it's kind of cool because
it is cool to see it.
To me, it's a clear reaction to everything being computer based these days. Like
for sure,
like it's like kind of like the more we have EDM music, the more we also have like awful banjo music. Like
what are you saying about banjos, bro?
Nothing wrong with banjos, but like,
well, it sounds like there's something wrong with banjos.
What's a band that everyone loves that I hate?
Steve Martin?
No, Little Lion Man and
Skrillex?
No. The
Mumford and Sons?
Mumford and Sons, that sort of
That's
shit.
A mandolin or or something.
Whatever.
I don't think, is it banjo? It's some sort of
it's the sound
fanciful guitar.
Of my eardrums dying is what it is.
Well, yeah.
But anyways, sorry, that was a random. I feel like so many non sequiturs in this episode.
No, all right. What else you got? You got anything before April 6th?
No, it's all you, man.
Do you have the film A Quiet Place on your list?
No, I don't. I liked A Quiet Place, but I thought it was a little bit overrated.
Wow. All right. Well, I enjoyed it. Just had extreme child gore, just kids getting killed.
Yeah, you don't actually see it. I was like, wow.
Well, it's an off-screen death, but you know what I mean? It was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Kind of a cool concept, kind of fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A little twist on the standard alien invasion apocalypse nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll remark that I think I had really bad stomach cramps or hunger cramps, something during this film.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember, and my stomach is growling or making noises the entire goddamn movie.
And how packed was your theater?
Oh, it was good and packed. It was, I would say, probably 60% full at least, because I go to the smaller movie theaters that are like that. Like, there's only, I don't know, what is it, like, there can't be more than like 50 seats in there anymore.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
The AMC style ones,
Yeah, you're probably going to have a semi-packed theater if nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it could be 70 people and it's full or something. You know what I mean? So it's just like, a little girl might get killed, or she's in a bathtub, and a monster sneak, and then you hear well, you just hear like
yeah, that's the thing. Like, this movie presented, like, it was a very cool movie because it's the first movie I can think of that's presented the problem where it you're so aware of the audience around you when you watch it, like, and it's funny because I've heard people complain, not seeing it with an audience, they also don't like it, but like, I don't know, I was fortunate enough to see it in a theater that had like 3 people in it, because I saw it at like 10 in the morning or something ridiculous like that on a Friday, but everyone else that I heard that I talked to that had seen it all were like, "Fuck, man, why did I get popcorn? Like the entire time, I'm just focusing on the popcorn, you know." So yeah,
you would have heard me and my Slurpee go.
Yeah. I mean,
as I'm trying to scrape out the last the straws scraping up against the plastic.
Well, like, so did that ever like take you out of the movie, just being so aware that you were?
Well, you didn't want to make any noise,
exactly.
So you were very tense, and when you're tense, you're uncomfortable,
right.
And I think when you're uncomfortable, it heightens your senses.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So you're kind of like, oh shit, I'm enjoying this, but I can't wait for it to be over in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like,
you know
you're looking forward to the release or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I'm it was an enjoyable time, kind of a fun movie. I thought the whole cast was good.
Yeah, I mean,
Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, the director, writer.
The husband wife couple team are really
dynamic duo.
Yeah, and that girl was great too. I liked her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And look, it's honestly my biggest beef, and it's funny because this will come up again later. But the rules that they established, even like, you know, how certain things, like, you know, they have the felt cloth Monopoly pieces instead of dice and regular pieces, because that might awake the monsters. But there's like a million other things that they could do that sounds like it would make worse noise, like some of the logic for the world and everything was a little bit too convenient for the plot for me sometimes.
Right.
But I still think it's a great concept, and, you know, they're making a sequel to it, right? So
they are, man. So, apparently, you know, sounds like, I don't know what they're gonna do, but
I would definitely love to see the concept expanded upon a little bit, because I feel like it was a cool idea, and I think it worked as a nice small movie. But I feel like, you know, like kind of like The Purge or something, like if they make another one and they kind of like figure out more of the details, fill in the details as you go on a little bit, it might be, you know, something interesting. Like a, but yeah, it's definitely another pretty unique movie this year.
All right. My next date is April 20th. What do you got?
I ain't got shit. It's all you, man.
Ooh. Well, this might be, you know, and I don't want to spoil anything, but this might be one of my kind of favorite films. This is You Were Never Really Here, from the GOAT, the God, Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Directed by Lynn Ramsey.
Is it really that good? Because I keep on hearing it's awesome, and I have not gotten myself to watch it on
It's
Prime.
good.
Yeah.
No, it's like, if you know what I mean? Like, you needed I needed you know, something in the vein of Drive, or something in the vein of kind of a strong silent type, brutally realistic kind of underworld.
One man versus the entire
exactly.
Mob,
you know what I mean? Oh yeah. Oh, it's great, man. It's great. It's gritty as hell. It looks really good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought it was directed really well. The color palette is really dark and like it feels gross and dirty.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting film. It's kind of about a guy who he takes jobs as a hitman, basically, for kind of a I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I saw it, but he was kind of working for a guy who was kind of his handler, and the handler would kind of give him assignments, and then he'd go kind of pick up money in a separate site, and he kind of gets mixed up in, you know, he gets hired to kind of find this guy's daughter who is kind of abducted, and she's being held prisoner in kind of this weird, like, you know, underground, like, brothel for kids, man. You know what I mean? So like, so he just goes to town killing people,
right.
As you might imagine one would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's brutally gruesome. It's heartbreaking, man. You know what I mean? It really is. Like, there's some, you know, Joaquin Phoenix plays a pretty messed up, tortured dude. You know what I mean? Who's trying to come to grips with kind of what he's doing. You know, he's trying to kind of take care of his mother. He gets, you know, kind of embroiled in this whole conspiracy and has to kind of fight his way out of it. Very excellent movie. Go check it out. Grim as hell, but very high quality stuff. I think it's on Amazon Prime, maybe.
Yeah, I think I saw it. I definitely like passed by it when I was looking for stuff to watch a few times. So,
you know, shout out to Amazon. You know, getting some of the classics. You know what I mean? And that was a weird one. You know, I don't. You know, throw it in the comments. It it didn't get a wider release until 2018. I think it went into some festivals last year, 2017. But hey, man, it's on people's 2018 list. So
with the festival circuit with these things, it sucks that like the festival season kind of starts at the very, very start of the year. So you got all the Oscar movies and the festival movies kind of blending together, going from one year to the next.
Yep. So,
what can you
Screw
do?
the innocent. I don't care. It's making the list.
Yeah.
It's making the list. I'm checking it twice. My next date, May 18th. You got anything?
I got May 13th. And
let's go.
You'll probably know what it is.
Let's hear it.
Avengers Infinity War.
Oh.
I will totally give it. I gotta hand it to Marvel. Nobody's ever pulled off a movie as big as that. You never heard of a movie that has been built up for 20 movies and still connects to them in ways and has huge stars. And I gotta admit, I thought the writing and the action scenes were pretty awesome, and I did get a little thrill seeing Iron Man and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange all fight together. So I know it's the small little indie movie no one's ever heard of.
I almost forgot about it. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but I felt like I would be remiss if I did not include it on there, because I even when I try to hate on it, like I've still watched the movie several times, on TV and everything like that. So
on Netflix, or how are you watching it?
Netflix. Yeah. I think I rented it when it first came out, and then I watched it on Netflix, but I threw it on the other night just to see the action scenes. So I don't do that too often. So if a movie can make me do that, it's a pretty high compliment. But on that same note, I'm still very much getting burnt out with superhero movies, but I gotta hand it to Marvel when they do it well. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah,
they don't get enough praise. So let's make sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's take care of the little guys out there.
I think they got a bright future. Those kids.
Those wily kids are gonna do something. All right, you got anything before May 18th?
No.
Or that was
no. It's all you.
Your boy Paul Schrader, First Reformed.
Oh man, Ooh, that's a rough movie, man.
Did you see it? Or no?
Yeah. I mean, I liked it. I think it's a really well done movie, but it is like I wanted to put a shotgun to my own head at the end of it. You know what I mean?
And spoiler alert, that doesn't actually happen.
Yeah. What are you not talking about? Anyways, forget I'd said anything, audience.
Yeah. Well, So we're just, we're not actually.
That was an unrelated
insinuating
analogy.
that happens.
Yeah, that does not actually happen.
Doesn't actually happen. One of the more grim, and I'm like, my list going back over it is damn grim. You know what I mean? But I'm just trying to kind of like the films I enjoyed that I recognize as quality films. Mm-hmm. And you can't say no. I mean, I thought Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, he was great. He was fantastic.
I thought Ethan Hawke was incredible, dude. You know what I mean? Like, nominate that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You instantly, I'm watching Ethan Hawke in Singles or some shit, right? Or whatever the hell. You know what I mean? From Here to Sunrise or some such nonsense or whatever. But then you're like, no, this is... You forget you're watching Ethan Hawke sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, all right. Anytime I can just not remember that you're actually just
watching somebody famous or whatever.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Paul Schrader,
Yeah.
Getting after it. You know what I mean?
It definitely seemed like it reminded me of Taxi Driver for sure a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Just with the voiceover and the ongoing, the weird loner guy and his increasing craziness and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is one where people are not going to watch.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So I'm a little bit more comfortable to talk about it.
Yeah.
But, basically it's kind of like it's about a priest who had a family and then kind of joined the Catholic priest. We're Catholic. We went to Catholic school. I couldn't even really tell if this was in a Catholic church or not exactly. But he kind of, he's kind of the pastor of a small kind of historical monument church. Doesn't have any kind of real following or congregation. There's like a mega church that's kind of down the road that actually owns the little church.
Right.
So he's an employee of the kind of the mega church. And he kind of gets brought into, counseling. One of his parishioners is a woman played by Amanda
Seyfried, I think.
Seyfried, yeah, from Mean Girls fame. And her husband is kind of an eco-terrorist who wants them to kind of kill their baby so that they don't add to the population problem. She finds kind of a suicide vest in his belongings, alerts the priest. The priest kind of takes it. It kind of spirals into weird directions from there. As this guy is trying to kind of balance all this kind of craziness. So it's an interesting movie. He's dealing with health problems. He's kind of neglecting himself. He's an alcoholic. He's drinking
super alcoholic,
pouring Pepto into just glasses of whiskey to get through because he probably has stomach or bowel cancer.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Lots of scenes of him peeing blood.
It's just listen, man, it's not for the faint of heart. It won't be like, oh, I need a cherry, pick me up. Let's throw on First Reformed. Yeah. But high quality stuff, A24.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's semi decent at least.
Yeah, it's like super well directed and well acted. It's just
yes.
Yeah.
It's grim. And did you like the kind of the epiphany scene? Or just not into it?
I thought that the lead up to it no, actually I didn't.
No, just shit on it.
That's fine. I feel kind of bad. And it was weird because like everyone loves this movie and I like it like more on an intellectual level. Like I totally kind of like the message. Like I like the struggle he's going through and like I like the characters and the direction, and it's very simple and intense and everything like that. But even the. And, like, it's weird. I usually am more for subtlety and, like, nuance and everything, but I just wanted something more to happen, and B, something that didn't make me want to kill myself. Like, it's just so relentlessly, oppressively depressing. But that good.
That sells it right there.
Well, that's the thing is like it's a really good movie. Like, and it also like it's a good it's kind of a good movie for people to watch. Like, I feel like it's a good character study and everything like that. Like, it definitely like made me think of like anytime since we're like Catholic school kids. Like, I feel like makes me like wonder like, damn, is that what some of our preacher like.
Yeah, because we had nuns and priests that lived kind of on campus in a rectory.
Yeah.
That was kind of attached to our high school and stuff. And God knows what they got up to at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And you never think of them, their own personal struggles and stuff like that. So
yeah. Well, I hope they were just doing mass amounts of drugs and drinking. And,
at least it's better than diddling kids. That's definitely
you know what I mean?
Upgrade.
I came out clean on my end. I don't know about you. But
yeah, I think I got lucky.
Yeah, we were both a little, we were late bloomers. You know what I mean?
Damn, we just always get picked last and everything.
Moving on, my next date is May 24th. You got anything?
Yes,
before that?
I got some for May 24th as well.
Okay, go for it. What do you got?
I got Tully by Jason Reitman.
Okay.
I
didn't see it.
It's there's another one that I was like, oh god, I kind of similar to Wes Anderson. I had, especially Jason Reitman, even though he had like some really great movies early on in his career, his later output hasn't been nearly as good.
Because Tully bombed like real bad, right?
Yeah, and I could totally see why. Like, I had absolutely no interest in going to see the movie. It's a pretty small movie, and it's also, I don't know, it's a very simple plot, and then you also
doesn't have some insane twist.
It has a twist that you can't really get into about it. But yeah, I liked it. It was another one that I wasn't thinking I was gonna like as much as I was, but I do kind of like Diablo Cody's writing still, I think, and like,
from Juno fame, right?
Yeah, like, she's got like a really good, I don't know, just like she has a good ear for like, I don't know, like rhythm to dialogue and just really intelligent, like, pop culture references and everything like that. And I like that it's like not, it's basically like dealing with the depression of being a parent in a really straightforward and honest way, and it's definitely
it makes you think like Diablo Cody shifted from being kind of like, remember when I was a depressed teenager? I'll write about that. Oh, now I'm older and I'm a parent. I'll just write about that.
It is clearly supposed to be her. I mean, you could probably say that about most of her scripts. Like, like Young Adult was about a, woman in her 30s who still acts like she's in high school and everything. Like so. And then, but I think above, like, probably more so than all her other movies, like, this character is clearly supposed to be her because it's about, like,
Well, they say write what you know,
Yeah, but...
Except, unless you're Ryan Johnson, I guess.
Oh, boom. Man, okay, so you got to get at least one more...
one more Last Jedi crack in there.
Yeah. So we can tag this Last Jedi and get all the...
hashtag Last Jedi,
but yeah, so I would say, like, I'm not saying, like, rush out and buy it, but maybe if you're bored and you see it on TV, I'd say it's worth a shot. And... it's a nice little movie, and it also, like, as always, Charlize Theron, she's kind of like the female Christian Bale in that she can put on a lot of weight or get ugly if she needs to real quick, and then immediately go back to being beautiful or, like, ripped or whatever. So she's definitely very impressive and brave doing some of that shit in this one.
Yeah, monster Charlize Theron, you could do worse.
Yeah, I know, but this is she's not... I've never seen her try to put on this much weight, this fat. Like, she's got, like, a nice, like, paunch going because she's, like, post baby weight and everything, and it's really cool, like, that she actually...
And she really did it,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, like, it's pretty impressive.
Remember that she... Man, how was I... God damn, I'm trying to remember the headlines, because she was doing all the media and all the press for it, and she was out there like, yeah, man, I just was... melting milkshakes and drinking them.
I feel like that's just, like the secret for all of the, like, I want to be the, not like that.
The Dr. Nick, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
the like, chocolate-tastic. You know what I mean?
You rub it on the wall. If you can
rub it on a piece of paper.
If you can see through it.
Rub it on a piece of paper.
Yeah. If the glass stays clear, you're in the clear or something like that. Yeah, so long of the short of it, Tully's pretty solid. I enjoyed it, so it's on my list.
What did you say you had one more before the 24th of May, or no?
24th of May. No, that was my May 24th, so I guess that's you, my friend.
Oh, man, all right. I don't know, did you see a Prayer Before Dawn?
Oh, dude, I don't even remember what that's supposed to be about.
How did you miss this one? It's about a,
Is it a war movie?
It's about a British boxer guy who moves to Thailand and kind of gets busted for drugs. It's like Midnight Express, but it's brutal. Yeah. It's another one where you're like, oh, I thought, like, prison in America would be bad.
Right.
Like, go to prison in Thailand.
Yeah, and it's like they toss you in prison and throw away the key if you get caught with drugs there, right?
It wasn't great. Yeah, like, they put him in, I think he starts in General Pop, and then he gets moved into, like, the career criminal violent offender room. Basically, it's just a large room.
Fights because he's the white guy fighter or whatever?
Yeah, he's just like a dumb young guy who was, like, getting into fights and stuff. And he was, he gets arrested for, like, beating the shit out of a guy during a fight, or he beats up the ref or something. But then he gets busted with all, like, drug possession, all kinds of stuff. He's a heroin addict, you know what I mean?
Oh, no.
So he's, like, doing heroin and drugs, and it's a very brutal, all kinds of weird stuff going on. You know what I mean? I think in the early, there's a scene where, let's see, I think the first night, so he kind of gets moved into, and what they look like is kind of like Yakuza, where they're, like, covered in tattoos, you know what I mean?
Really? Okay.
And they're living in, like, a large room, you know what I mean? And not that large, like maybe the size of, like, a one-bedroom apartment, you know what I mean? Maybe the size of, like, they're living in something the size of, like, the inside of a Starbucks. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's like a big enough area to, like, train or whatever, too?
No. They're just living in there.
Okay.
So they all just sleep on the floor. And then there's a large trough for you to, like, go to the bathroom in, basically. That's it.
Oh,
but, like the first night, he gets up to go to the bathroom. and then a guy is holding a shiv to his throat, and they pull him down. And they tell him to shut the fuck up, because they're gonna finish raping the other guy that they brought in with him. So they've got like a knife. They're like taking turns raping a guy, and while they're forcing him to watch that, if you step out of line, this is what we're gonna do to you. And then they finish raping because they have to do it all very quietly. Apparently, I was like, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Is there like a guard on the other side?
Yeah, the guards could hear us, killing this poor guy or whatever. And then they wake up the next morning, the guy had hung himself.
Oh no!
You know what I mean? So it was just good.
Another uplifting family film from the.
I mean, it's brutal. You know what I mean? And it's a true story. It's this real guy that he went to prison in Thailand and served his time, and he only got out like a couple years ago, but he wrote a book about it.
Yeah.
And kind of became. He found himself eventually on the the prison's Muay Thai fight team. Basically,
cool. So is he like one of those recognized Muay Thai fighters in the world now?
Not really. No, not at all. Yeah, he wasn't good or anything, but he was.
Yeah, he's just known for his prison survival or whatever.
Yeah, because basically the prisons would have like their own like fight teams, and then they would go fight other prisons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like it was once he kind of made that team, he gets treated better, he's eating better, you know what I mean? Because, a lot of pride's on the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're representing the smart tech, you know what I mean? Like you got to get out there and fight for the team, you know what I mean? So they took better care of him once he got on the boxing team.
Mm-hmm.
But an absolutely brutal, not since we've seen, since like Midnight Express, type American dude in foreign prison that he's just not ready for.
Did you think Midnight Express didn't have enough Muay Thai? Well,
well,
we got
here
a
you
movie
go.
For you.
No, exactly. Yeah, it was, and I believe it's on Amazon Prime as well.
Oh, cool! I will totally because I did not. And as you were describing it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember seeing the trailer for that, and that looked cool, but. I totally forgot about it, so thanks for the.
It's got everything. It's got romance. It's got violence.
It's got rape. Yay!
Yeah, it's brutal, man. But what the craziest thing is, I don't even want to say it to you, but you go. You know what? I'm not even gonna. I want to let me know when you've seen it, and I want to touch base on this one point.
Maybe like whatever the next review is, we can bring it up again.
We'll revisit it because it'll be a hot take.
Oh, okay.
But I want to know how you feel about this one issue.
Okay.
All
Gotcha.
right. Let's move on. June 8th is my next date. You got anything before that?
I got one for June 1st, but I suspect I know what the June 8th one is, and I think we're both going to have some for that.
What's the June 1st?
June 1st is Upgrade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another one that I wanted to see desperately, but did not.
Yeah. It's one that I think I saw, like, I Redboxed one night. And it's another one that, like, probably wouldn't have made my top 10 had we not expanded it, but now that we are, I'm kind of glad that I can just give it a little shout out. It's not like it's a nice low budget movie that has some fun ideas in it. It's still like kind of like short and you might forget about it after a year, but it's got some really fun action scenes. There's a lot of comparisons to it. Like you saw Venom, right?
I did.
Yeah, so there are definitely some similarities to that and Venom. It's kind of like a Raid Dread situation where it's like an indie movie kind of comes, like both movies are good, but they are kind of similar. They just happen to have like little similarities. And it is unfortunate that the main character in Upgrade does kind of look like Tom Hardy, so that didn't really help. But the just the whole idea of this paralyzed technophobe guy. It starts in the movie. He's a technophobe. His wife does something with a shady corporation, and lo and behold, they get attacked one night. He gets paralyzed, and the wife gets killed. And then I think a shady businessman comes to him and says, "Hey, we've got this really cool microchip that we can stick in your spinal cord, and it will give you the ability to walk." So he agrees to it, and the thing they don't tell him is that the chip kind of talks to him in his head, much like Venom, there's kind of like this voice.
One of the side effects.
Yeah, and it's like,
isn't it weird that poor man Tom Hardy is like the Venom of regular Tom Hardy? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I kept on thinking, because the only other thing I remember seeing him in is Prometheus. He's also the annoying boyfriend that gets killed for.
He was in Quarry, if you ever saw that. I think it was a Starz original.
No, I don't think so.
Damn.
Is that good?
Get on out there, people. It only lasted 1 year because of how brutal it was.
Oh, depressing. It was a show? Or...
Oh, my God.
Oh, okay.
It's so good. He comes back as a Marine from Vietnam and can't find work, quickly gets approached and recruited to be a hitman.
Oh.
And he's just got to get out there and start killing people. His wife gets abducted. He's got to track it.
It sounds like You Were Never Really Here, the show.
No, exactly. Yeah. No, it was, but this guy's, he's got more to live for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is absolutely, it's good and brutal. It's his, I think the dude's best work. I can't remember his name. Poor man Tom Hardy.
Logan Marshall Green.
That sounds about right. Yeah. But go check out Quarry. It's super duper good.
Okay, cool. I honestly have not. I don't think I even heard about that.
It might be on demand.
Damn, I'm gonna have to ask you for your list after this episode because you got some good ones.
The show's a year or two old. Yeah, I can't remember, but it didn't make it past 1 year.
Damn.
I remember watching it like 2016, maybe.
Okay,
something like that.
Yeah,
so you might be able to find it.
Good to know.
All right.
So June 8th, yeah.
There you go. What do you got? I know what it is.
Hereditary?
You know what it is, bro.
Oh, man, dude. I'm not going to lie. This totally probably would have been my number one had we been doing it, like numerically or whatever.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. Did you, so did it end up, like, because I didn't know if you ended up liking it or not after we reviewed it or whatever.
Yeah, to me, it's still in the realm of my favorites.
Yeah.
The kind of the twist ending, which we won't really get into, I thought was pretty interesting. You know what I mean? But Toni Collette, man,
dude, for real,
hand the lady something,
an Oscar or give her a
something.
Nod,
I mean, damn, dude, give her a nod.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I really, really enjoyed it. Shout out to the creepiest girl alive,
seriously.
probably. You know what I mean? In a year of creepy kids, she's right on up there.
Yeah.
Can you just every time I hear that, I'm like, hey.
Yeah. And just like super duper props to Ari Aster because he is like a talented. Like, he's like one of those people, like, like there's like people that you just like wish you were. Like, I totally wish I was him because
I've never thought of that. No.
I definitely like if you. I think he's got a couple of his student films online, and yeah, they're just equally like really solid. Like it's
right.
For somebody so young to have like such a confident style and everything, and just to get really to have such a nice balance between like great performances and just great editing and camera work and everything like that. It's I assume this kid's going places.
This kid's got it.
Yeah,
he's got chops.
Yeah.
It's another movie. It was made for
like next to nothing.
Yeah, like I'm tempted to try to Google it real quick. Let's see if I can find it. But yeah, made for like
I'm saying
it was made
20,
for like nothing.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, like $25.
$10 million.
Really? Wow. God damn, that's impressive. I guess that makes sense.
$80 million at the box office.
Wow,
so
that's
insane. good for them.
I bet you half that budget was spent on like those miniatures too.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
All right. Well, that was a pretty big one. So I mean, and if you're listening to this,
yeah,
it's probably right up your alley, and we're probably not telling you anything. You don't really know.
Yeah,
so,
it's definitely, but it's one of those movies that the hype lived up for, and like this is I don't know about you, but I always look forward more than anything else. I'm looking forward to the one hot indie movie that gets a lot of buzz from festivals, like your It Followses and Babadooks and all that stuff. Like something with a really good little concept that is the little movie that could, and this year it's Hereditary for me. So
yeah, I agree. Now My next jam is July 27th. You got anything before that?
I got one before that.
Okay, go for it.
And it's another nifty little indie kind of sci-fi kind of horror movie called The Endless.
The Endless, okay.
Yeah.
On Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Another one I wanted to see, never didn't get a chance.
Yeah, it's a cool little movie. God, I'm trying to think. I ended up seeing it at a film festival. Another one I might not have seen on my own, but they showed us a lot of really awesome movies. And this one's cool. It's about a couple of brothers that are reformed cultists. Like, they had escaped from a cult when they were kids, and now they're trying to adapt to regular life, but they kind of suck at it because they've never had to
they're not socialized and all that stuff.
Yeah, and then they suddenly get a tape from the cult that they used to live at, and they end up going out to visit just for the hell of it, and weird supernatural things seem to be happening, and it definitely seems to involve loops and time weirdness, and it's pretty cool. It has a lot of cool little weird sci-fi concepts. It manages to stay pretty vague but explain enough, and it's kind of interesting. The filmmakers who did this, they had another movie called what is it called? I forgot. It's I'll have to IMDb them. I should have looked it up, but basically there is a direct tie-in to one of their earlier movies, and if you end up watching it, you find out things that happen to characters in a different movie in this movie. So it's just pretty cool. Like, they basically created their own little extended universe in ways that you wouldn't expect, and it's a nice little sci-fi channel-esque movie.
Nice. All right. Well, keeping it with the the small little indie budget vibe, Mission Impossible Fallout.
Oh yeah, that's a art house movie.
July 27th. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it.
Yeah.
Christopher McQuarrie, one of the rising stars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a great dude.
Tom Cruise, little guy that ran. You know what I mean? Had to put it on there.
Yeah.
The bathroom fight. You got you got Superman. You got Tom Cruise. You got helicopters.
And I haven't seen it, but Superman was really good in it, right?
He's great.
Yeah.
He's better than he is at being Superman.
Yeah, that's not saying much.
You know what I mean? So, But, really, it pains me. What is the 8th film in a gigormous franchise?
But the movies, the thing is, those movies have always just been excuses for set pieces. Like, the plot is beyond bullshit for all of them. But that's kind of the cool thing, is they realize that, and it sounds like they kind of lean into it and just try to come up with the coolest, weirdest
Tom
stunts.
Cruise has leaned all the way in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just, you're watching Tom Cruise actually fly a helicopter. You know what I mean? It's not, and he's like, no, I actually flew. I know how to fly this.
Yeah.
I trained for months to fly this and do this, and people thought he's gonna die. Like, there were times people thought he died.
Actively waiting for him to die on the filming of the next one, because
no, it's gonna be in space or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he's gonna somehow drop from a balloon from space.
Oh man,
and just rock it into
Isn't that basically what he did in this one though? Like, I feel like he.
Well, so yeah, what he did was they had him like Halo jump out of a plane like 80 times or something to film 1 3 minutes. I'd go insane, but Tom Cruise, the insurance is paying for it. You know what I mean? So, but you get to see him shatter his ankle, slam me into a wall. Like, you get to see him do all this great stuff. So mad props to Tom Cruise. Listen, if I had more money than God, I would have called it quits long time ago.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise is out there pushing his boundaries beyond what he should intellectually be capable of in flying these goddamn helicopters, and physically capable of jumping between buildings and running and shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's my $15 or whatever, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, I would totally watch just fucking. It's basically like Jackass with a $90 million budget.
You're watching a billionaire endanger himself for our amusement.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely insane. Yeah, and he's like a 5'6" little old white guy, and so I'm like, yep. Sign me up.
Yep.
I'm down.
Oh, man.
Can't wait for Top Gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of crazy shit he's gonna do?
Oh man, he's getting desperate in his studio choices.
I don't think so. I think he's just.
He's so lucky he found Christopher McQuarrie, because that dude is the only one that's been like producing good.
He's the cruise whisperer.
Yeah. And it's so crazy too. Like I feel like he's a really talented filmmaker, and probably all the years of working with Bryan Singer has taught him how to deal with crazy sociopaths. So
whatever you say, Tom.
Yeah.
Sounds great, Tom.
Yeah. Whatever you say. So what I was thinking.
What were you thinking, Tom?
Yeah.
I'll take my check.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. August 10th is my next date.
I do not have anything.
All right. Summer of '84. A very actually tiny little small movie.
Yeah, I had wanted to see this, and so it was good. You liked it?
It's great. Yeah, it's fun. I think it's on Shudder. You can find it on Shudder.
Yeah, I just unsubscribed to Shudders.
Man, honestly, if you guys are thinking about it, I'll shill for them a little bit. I think I don't know. It's $4 or $5 a month, and I think Shudder. Oh man, what do they got right now? Just off the top of my head. They got Mandy is on there.
Yeah.
They got
that Channel Zero, right? Is that supposed to be pretty good?
I think so. Yeah, they've got a few of the kind of the under the radar ish kind of horror, sci-fi, cool. Revenge is on there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So some cool ones like that. But this was on there. Watched pretty recently. Really enjoyed it. It's goddamn kids on bikes. It's set in the 80s. You know what I mean? It's tapping into all the craziness.
Yeah.
The nostalgia, the member berries, if you will.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's kids on walkie-talkies running around on bikes.
And do they have it's like Spy on the Neighbor kind of thing, right?
Yeah. So what the plot is that they're in kind of a small town, of course, and there's teenage boys are missing, like boys their age. They're all I want to say they're 13 or 14, something like that, 14, 15, something like that. You know what I mean? Where they're still right on that edge of kind of manhood and adolescence and all this crap, and boys their age are disappearing. Some serial killer is abducting, them, and the one kid kind of thinks it's his neighbor. The main character kid, and so a lot of the film is them kind of investigating him and the tension of breaking into his house when he's now they follow him. It's kind of that
a rear
fun
window thing, like, oh no, now he's back in the house and you've got to hide and
right,
all that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
So it's exactly, it's kind of fun, and good soundtrack, some good needle drops in there, kind of fun. If you're into the Stranger Things and all that good stuff and you want a little bit more of that kind of feel, I think you'll enjoy it. Check it out. Very fun. Made by, I think, 3 guys from Finland or Sweden. I can't remember. But
I think aren't they the same guys that did Turbo Kid?
Probably.
Yeah, Turbo Kid.
So.
Shout out. It's on Netflix. It's a really awesome movie with a lot of 80s schlock. It's like a totally different genre. It's like a Mad Maxy kind of type of thing, but I was suddenly a lot more interested in seeing Summer of '84 after seeing Turbo Kid. I think they're talented. I don't know. I think they do music videos and stuff a lot. So they got a pretty cool frenetic style. It seems like.
Yes, very cool, very interesting, fun little movie.
Yeah.
My next date is September 13th.
Oh, I think we're gonna have the. Well, no, actually, I'm just gonna skip. I have one that's I saw Searching, came out August 24.
Okay,
it's
okay.
No,
didn't see Searching, but a lot of people are including that.
I almost didn't put this on my list, so that's why I was hesitant to put it on. It's a really solid movie. I like it, but I forgot what the term is for it now, but the screen life. Movies that are basically just whatever is on your computer desktop. I'm getting a very similar vibe to it as I did when found footage was starting to get really hot. When the first Cloverfield came out and you're like, oh man, this is such a cool concept because it's all new and fresh.
When I wasn't throwing up in the movie theater. JJ.
Why, JJ? Why?
Just settle down. I can't focus.
Yeah. TJ Miller is an awful cameraman. And an awful person. But I Yeah, so it was a cool little movie, and I think, the novelty of the Screen Life thing, this is like the third movie, I think, because they had Open Windows, which I did not like, and then they had Unfriended, which I hate to admit I actually like kind of liked a little bit, but it's so like, it's like you have like the desk, whatever your computer desktop is, plus a horror movie, and this one's like kind of like a mystery thriller. So it's kind of cool. It definitely has like moments where it's like, why are you doing this via computer, or like, people's Skype videos are like way too crisp and clean and everything, or and I, the thing that this one does different is I think they like zoom in and out, like they'll cut in and out. So instead of just showing the whole computer screen, they'll like just do a close up on the search bar or something when something important comes up. So that kind of gives it a little bit more energy. And I think John Cho's the lead, and he's pretty good. And it's a solid movie. It's fun. I feel like this is going to be like one of many movies like this coming up, though, and it'll probably make me like.
Yeah, the format will be fucked out pretty quick.
Yeah, you won't want to return to it. But so, if you're looking for a nice thing to rent, I would say give it a shot.
There we go. Let's hit it. What do we got? Yeah,
okay. So now I'll let you do the honors for the next one.
Nicolas Cage, the GOAT.
Yeah, dude, the fucking
Mandy.
Woo, man, Mandy.
Would you call this a movie? It's
an acid fever dream. Put the film. And it's everything. It's the Nicolas Cage movie. Kind of
the most Nicolas Cage movie. Kind of, yeah. It's the most meme-tastic kind of insane Nicolas Cage movie ever.
After nothing happens for the first 45 minutes, I love how it's like the turn, and so does it count like? When the turn happens, like, is that technically the title card finally coming up? Because it says Mandy, and that's when he starts like busting out the chainsaw and all the crazy.
I'll sign off on that theory that the movie doesn't actually start until then.
Yeah, like it felt like the entire thing was just like, okay, this is going to be our super slow build up, so you can really enjoy the carnival of gore.
Yeah, it's like a reward if you've made it this far.
Yeah, it's like
now it's time.
It's like the person that you dragged into the theater to see this with you, it would be right at the point they would be like pulling your arm to leave. And
right. And my condolences to every like 14-year-old boy who's going to try to like convince his friends to watch this.
Yeah.
And they're like,
I swear it gets good. It gets good.
No, guys.
Nicolas Cage is in it. I swear. I don't know why we're listening to this weird hippie music or whatever.
And it doesn't even matter. Like, we can go into the plot. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
there is
it
no
really
plot,
doesn't.
Really. I mean, there is, of course, but it's the simplest.
Well, that's the cool thing is this.
Is it based on a myth or something? Like, I was like, is this based on
fucked
something?
If I know. It seemed like it kind of, because, like, it seemed like it's supposed to take place in the 80s. They make
ancient Greece or something, well, I would say. Like, what I mean? This is a classic revenge tale.
Yeah, well.
Story old as time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well,
man's got to do what a man's got to do type stuff. You know what I mean?
It's almost like a fantasy. Like, it's like you're seeing, like, the whole second half of the movie is his hallucination of, like, what... Because it takes such a sudden dip into batshit insanity.
Because just real quick, basically this couple lives out in kind of the wilderness. And he's a lumberjack. Nicolas Cage is a lumberjack, and she owns or works at a little convenience mart.
I think she works at it.
Do they own it, or it's not clear.
Yeah.
But
movie's pretty light on details.
Yeah, there's not a lot of dialogue.
Yeah,
right?
it's like more
your boy.
It's kind
Panos
of Cosmatos. Yeah, he's got your Drive school of filmmaking. Where,
sure, he does.
Yeah, long pauses, which is awesome because it's committing to do something that way.
He's got digital to burn.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
so he doesn't have to sweat it. But and kind of weirdly a cult. There's a cult that's kind of in town or passing through. I mean, they must be nearby. They kind of come upon her. The leader of the cult is kind of a failed musician. as they all are, I think, right? Is that? I mean, it's just, I was like, all right. So he's kind of a failed musician. He's somehow convinced this group of people to worship him. And he kind of, she's walking home, I guess, on this like dirt road, and they're driving by in a van, and he's all upset or depressed about some such nonsense. And he kind of leans out and looks at her and decides that she's some sort of incredible angel or something worthy of his focus or time or something. It's a revenge thriller. You can see Nicolas Cage kill people in unspeakable manners. Fun for the whole family. Okay, moving on. October 12th is my next date, so we jump a whole month for me. One of the movies that is gonna get the least amount of recognizability, recognition. Damien Chazelle's First Man. I thought it was great. It was the most horrifying movie of the whole year because it's based on, at least the true story of, listen, I'm not going to go to my moon landing theories. You know what I mean? But that's for another podcast entirely. You know what I mean? But, the early space travel, these guys, you know what I mean? It's like you're literally flying around in goddamn outer space in something that has less computing power than the calculator we had in high school. You know what I mean? It had more craziness going on than this piece of shit. And the best of the best were basically going, oh yeah, I'll fly around in that. I tweeted it out. I was like, this is my horror movie of the year. You know what I mean? Of just how incredibly tense and scary some of this stuff was. There's a scene where Neil Armstrong has to solve a problem and correct. They're in their little spaceship that's the size of a smart car. You know what I mean? And they're spinning out of control at such a rate that he's going to pass out and become unconscious and die if he doesn't figure this out in the next 30 seconds. And so the tension of this, and the guy flying with him goes. And just holy shit. You know what I mean? And it was so intense. All this audio is available. You can go on YouTube and actually listen to the audio of them when this was happening and stuff. Yeah. And he's just we're having a problem here. Yep. Sure are experiencing spin here. Oh, it's brutal. It's another one that you're just oh, it's heavy, dude. I mean, because a huge subplot of this is kind of the death of his daughter. Yeah, because Neil Armstrong, I guess they lost, I want to say she was 3, 4, or 5, somewhere in there. She died of cancer, you know what I mean, at a very young age. And he was kind of haunted by that. You know what I mean? And so it's a heavy move. It's a heavy drama movie. He's going through it. His friends are dying. So and so, yeah, they just died on the frigging test for this or that, or you know what I mean? And you're just oh shit, people die in fires. That people die horribly. They're dying in space. You know what I mean? It's all bad. They die in test flights. They die this way. They die that way. You know what I mean? And so you're just watching this dude just react and just have to keep moving. All right, moving on. December 14th, Spider-Man.
Yes, Spider-Man.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Definitely on my list as well. Great friggin' movie, right?
The most Spider-ish movie of the year. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's Spider-Ham in it.
Spider-Ham. It's amazing that we're at a point where Spider-Ham is a actual thing that your grandma knows about.
And Nicolas Cage.
If you needed more of a seal of approval, that this movie is awesome.
So, it's one of those movies we probably don't need to talk about it a ton. Probably most people listening to this, you guys probably snuck in a chance to see it. So, just kind of, I didn't love the visual stylings at all the times. Just it threw me off a little bit. It kind of hurt. It gave me
was it distracting for you after a while, or?
It was a little bit. Yeah, it just and I know they wanted to be cool and different and use the dots and kind of
all the word bubbles and all the comic affectations and stuff like that.
But I think just the actual visuals of what it kind of looked like. I just, it was very, very interesting and different. But I mean, I saw it in standard. I didn't see it in 3D. I didn't see it in IMAX. I
didn't either. It was weird though, because that kind of like faux comic book style, it almost gave it a kind of 3D feel to it. Like the way they kind of like made it on top of the Ben-Day dots. I think they made it look like it was like overprinted. So, but they used it almost the same way that 3D works. So if there's like something really close in the foreground, the overlap is farther apart. Like you notice it more, but it's kind of the same ways that your eyes process focus. Like if you had something that close to you, it'd be kind of out of focus in the same way. So, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Like the movie, like I felt like invigorated from all like the colors and and I just really liked the way it moved too. Like a lot of the action scenes and just the way they did montages and stuff like that had this really cool, fluid, really comical style and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I thought the voice cast was great too.
What was the big the big twist? I don't want to get into it, but did you have a problem with it, or were you
the one that happens earlier on in the movie?
Yeah, the villain twist.
No, I thought that was great. I thought that was totally yeah. No, I actually thought that was. If we're thinking of the same twist,
We might not be the first one.
The first one
where I guess there's several villain twists in this movie, but when they're at the facility and one of
the people at the facility turns out to be someone. I actually like that a lot. Okay. But did you have an issue with it, or
no? I just thought it was a little. God, here we go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that was kind of like the thing I did kind of like about it. It's the same thing. It goes like I think the movie kind of has its cake and eats it too, because it has all of the stuff from the Spider-Man universe that you're familiar with, but it can also be like, well, this is from universe C5439 or something like that, where everyone in the world is made out of tacos or something. Like, they can get as weird or stupid as they want with it and still just kind of show something different on this, like a new variation on the same thing you've seen over and over again. But I don't know. But yeah, that kind of added to the surprise of the movie, as there were times where you didn't know where it was going, because it has all of these different like pots of tricks to pull from, like so many different like random universes. Like there's like many things that they don't explain, that they just kind of show. Like I think many of the villains are different than you would expect them to be. Like isn't the Green Goblin kind of like a dragon? And not major spoilers, but there's like little touches like that. Like people are more cartoonified a lot of times than their normal counterparts, and that kind of makes them a little bit more fun. I think.
I kind of liked how they did the Kingpin, where he's just like a brick wall, basically.
Yeah, and I love his.
He looked like a Kanye music video.
Yeah, and I love that he's got this like, no, I'm a New Yorker, I'm walking here, like that kind of like, I think he's been played before where he's like kind of almost like stoic and slow talking and everything, and I like that he was just kind of more of a regular New Yorker sort of,
right? Which is pretty unbelievable, but yes.
yeah. I mean, it, whatever. We're in a kids comic movie. It's, yeah, I don't think there was like much else. I think you had a good point saying it's nice to see a superhero movie where it's like, just like the comic books, it's like, I just want to read about Spider-Man without having to worry about how this affected Ant-Man 12 issues ago, or it's just like Spider-Man has its own layered and complex mythology on its own that can be mined, and it's funny too, because it's like, this is the first time I think Sony's made the right move with this franchise that they have, really, like because they have so many characters that they could mine, but this was like really nice, and it felt like they were doing a better job with it than if Marvel had it. because Marvel would have been obligated to like stick Deadpool in there or something like that, you know.
All right, I've got another for December 14th, which...
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I don't got anything.
The House That Jack Built.
Oh, you saw that? I didn't even realize it came out this year.
Oh yeah. What do you mean that you didn't think it got released?
Yeah, I kept on thinking it was coming out in January for some reason, even though I know it's getting so much Oscar buzz. But it just another one.
I don't think it's gonna get any.
Or isn't it getting? It's getting some sort of notoriety.
It's getting horrible. Like this was the worst thing I've ever seen.
Really, I know. Like people were walking out of screenings because of being horrified or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, and it's classic Lars von Trier kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, there's it's so funny, and just to run down the plot, basically, it's sort of an anthology almost. It's 5 little, I guess, vignettes you'd say of this guy played by Matt Dillon, who I thought Matt Dillon did an incredible job.
Is he good? Like he seems like such, just from the outside, he seems like such a random choice.
I know, but he's actually really pretty incredible.
Really? Okay.
He's up there with Ethan Hawke. You know what I mean? Of kind of the performances. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he basically plays a guy who's a serial killer. He's kind of an architect / engineer / whatever, and kind of the story kind of takes place over 5 different episodes of his life and career, kind of as a serial killer, and kind of moving into, and I think for the most part they kind of go in chronological order. So he starts kind of building
at the start of his career, and like as he becomes more of a serial killer or whatever.
Yeah, so it's kind of like going through the deaths. I mean, some of the it's legitimately funny at times. Like you will laugh at some of the crazy stuff.
Really,
and it's brutal. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how Lars von Trier convinced Uma Thurman to be in this film, but he did.
This is like the second or third movie they've done together.
Really?
She was in Nymphomaniac too.
Was she?
Yeah, she was.
Was she in the first part or the second part?
I think she was in the second part. She's got. It sounds, what you're describing to me kind of sounds similar to Nymphomaniac, because it's like same thing, like various vignettes of this person's life, and I think Uma Thurman had like one that was pretty much about her. So it definitely seems like it's part of whatever creative thought train he was on at that moment.
Yeah.
And is it also like super long? Like, is it?
It's good and long. It's like, I want to say it's 2 hours at least.
Dude, that's like nothing for.
No, I know, but. I'm trying to remember, 2.5 hours maybe. I don't know. Okay. I can't remember, but it doesn't get too bad. There's definitely
welcome or whatever.
I don't think so. There's cool. Definitely some of the certain of the episodes last longer, and then there's kind of a final little weird episode. It's a very interesting film. I mean, I think it's one of the, and I don't throw this out a lot, but I think people will study this one. You know what really? I mean? They'll kind of. It's going to be a weird film school. Like, hey, let's dig into this.
Yeah.
Because it's very creepy and interesting, and kind of talking about just how he kind of walks through the thought processes of how
victims.
to and just and there's it's brutal. He kills kids. He kills women.
Right.
I think I want to say he kills men in it, but he does kill men in it. But there's only one scene that everyone is
up in arms.
All the Jimmies are rustled about.
Really.
There's always one.
Yeah,
there's always
every one of his just about every one of his movies have at least a scene like that.
Yeah, and I'll listen, if you want to come after me for spoiling this, feel free.
Okay.
There's a scene where it's a flashback scene of when he's a kid.
Okay.
And he's probably, I don't know, 8, maybe or 8 or 9, and he's at like a pond, and he catches a duckling in a net.
Oh.
And then he holds the duckling and then cuts off its leg with a pair of like pliers or something.
And did they do that with a real duckling?
No, they didn't. Oh, okay. No. And so I researched this because I was like, listen, I need to figure out if this shit was real or not.
Does it look like it's like that's got to be real and they just use digital
so
trickery?
It's like they look like pruning shears.
Right.
That you would just cut like roses with or mess with your garden or whatever. Like your mom has a pair. Yeah. And he just like snips this like duckling's leg off and then puts it back in the water and then it drowns.
Oh.
So it's good in like, ooh, but PETA came out and was like, nope, it was all done with movie magic, like a silicone leg, like it was all fake. Don't worry, like we're actually like defending him.
That's cool.
For doing this and stuff.
He does like I think he kind of had a similar thing in not to keep on going back to Nymphomaniac, but like there's the scenes in the first one were like they were very convincingly looking like that actors were having like actual sex on screen, and apparently that was all digital trickery or whatever. So he seems to be pretty good at that sort of
industrial
stuff.
Lights and Magic type
stuff. Yeah. Especially if you use it sparingly, and he's got that whole like Dogma 95 style, so everything looks like it's all handheld and shaky. So if you do have a moment where somebody suddenly needs some sort of like arm cut off or something, you're just automatically assuming it's real because it feels that documentary style or whatever.
So that was a pretty brutal one, but it's like a fun brutal. You know what I mean? It's a little more interesting.
Yeah. That definitely seems cool.
No one's gonna watch it. It's absolutely it's brutal for a reason. Like people have walked out of it for a reason. But like honestly, if you have, it's no worse than Mandy. In my mind,
yeah,
you know what I mean. It's no worse than some of these other ones.
And it's kind of like if you know anything about Lars von Trier or. The movie's called House That Jack Built and it's about serial killers. Like, you're probably not expecting a happy, fun time for the whole family.
No. And it's a shame because the film itself is really cool and interesting and really good. I mean, it's in the way it's shot. I mean, everything is just really interesting, and Dylan is really good.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, and he carries the whole thing. I mean, he's on screen.
Like almost every
98% of the 99% of it, you know what I mean? So it's just I can't imagine. It must have been incredibly stressful and a weird movie to make.
Oh, yeah, I can definitely see that.
But he's an interesting character, but he's a piece of shit. Like you will not probably come away liking him whatsoever. But moving on, my next one is December 26th.
I ain't got anything. I'm all maxed out for the year. So.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up with Yorgi the goat. You know what I mean? Our boy.
Oh yeah.
Yorgis.
Yeah. I was going to ask
Lanthimos.
I was going to.
I can never remember his name. I just call him Yorgi.
Yorgi, your little pet.
My buddy Yorgi.
I was actually gonna ask because I couldn't tell if that was gonna be on your list or not. I never got your full opinion of it, and I almost.
We're talking about The Favorite, by the way.
The Favorite, yeah, and I really wanted to see this. I was gonna see it yesterday, and instead I saw Vice, and I was disappointed with my decision.
I never. We've been sick. Ash and I have both been sick, and I was supposed to go see Vice a couple different times, and I just. From what it sounds like, I was like, it's not going to make my top 10 list. It's not going to make my favorite movies, so I'll see it whenever.
Yeah, I totally wish I had that same thought process because you're completely right.
Yeah. But, The Favorite, it's the least Yorgi-esque movie of his, I think.
In that people don't talk like they just ate a bunch of Quaaludes.
Right. It sounds like a play. You know what I mean? It's a very interesting movie, and it's kind of it's about the crazy Queen Anne, and her quasi childhood friend, but kind of this woman who kind of takes over. She's a long time friend and kind of her best friend and is the favorite, right?
Mm-hmm.
and she kind of takes over a lot of the decision making, and starts heavily influencing kind of policy decisions. And her husband, I'm trying to Rachel Weisz's character, is kind of the favorite I'm talking about, and she, super influential. Her family, is high up there, partying with the queen, you know what I mean, as kids. So as you can imagine, she's a lady, in court and all that good stuff. And her husband is kind of one of the top generals in the military, and then Emma Stone kind of comes in, who is kind of a disgraced relative of Rochelle Weisz.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's like the bratty cousin or something? Or?
Sort of. She's kind of like a disgraced cousin, where she's just dead broke. And she basically just like hitches a ride on a apple cart, basically, kind of, and just trying to get to the palace.
Right.
And when she gets there, Rachel Weisz doesn't want anything to do with her, really, doesn't care about her. Gets her a job like scrubbing the floors, like Cinderella style, with the rest of the castle staff, kind of a thing.
Man,
and she kind of slowly, and you can Rachel Weisz slowly, like Emma Stone rather, she kind of manipulates the situation and kind of elevates herself into favor with the queen.
Okay.
And then before you know it, there's kind of a rivalry there. So it's kind of, I'm sure none too similar to, real stuff that you're probably familiar with. I mean, it's
like based on like War of the Roses kind of
sort
stuff,
of, but
or...
I mean, but it's just interesting, like just to see people haven't changed that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's basic, petty and
petty as shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And
yep, and they want to be appreciated. Exactly. It's all who you know. It's all who you like. It's all who you like at the moment. So and so was nicer to me today than you. So
right.
blah
now
blah blah.
You're my favorite.
Yeah, exactly. So and it's very, very interesting. And I'm the actress, I'm trying to remember her name, but that plays the queen, probably should get nominated for supporting.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, she was incredible.
Nice.
And she's a killer, and I'm trying to remember her name, but she does not get overshadowed by Weisz or Stone, man.
Yeah, that's tough, especially when you're the supporting, like...
Yeah, she kind of stands out in those, in every scene, because she plays kind of a batshit crazy queen.
Yeah.
So she probably had a ton of fun making it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because she just throws temper tantrums and screams at people, and has 17 pet rabbits, and just is an eccentric kind of like crazy woman.
Yeah.
But very interesting, so
nice.
Go check it out. It's not as brutal as Killing of a Sacred Deer. Not quite. This one's more fun. You know what I mean? There's humor in it.
I like that it's still got a good dose of his lack of faith in humanity or whatever. Like it's still like nice and satirical of people's flaws or whatever. By the sound of it.
Well, that's it for me. I'm dying. Are you exhausted?
Yeah, I mean, shit. Just talking about all these movies makes me want to have a nap.
Well, that's it. I mean, yeah, we can go back over, but I mean, we've talked about it to exhaustion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
this is our lives, people. This is all we do. All
I don't
we
have
think
enough
about.
time.
Yeah.
So if you're still listening to this, kudos to you.
Yeah. God bless
you. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'll quickly go back. I think You Were Really Never Here is probably my top film of the year.
Yeah.
Mr. Volpe. How do you?
I think I might need to give that honor to Hereditary.
Okay.
It's a close call though, because contrary to what I was saying before, there actually were a lot of pretty cool, unique movies this year, and I'm glad that we had this talk because you definitely enlightened me to a bunch of movies that I would love to see or hadn't heard of and would probably like. So
yeah, and I think a lot of these, most of them, you should be able to try to find if you go. Like one of my favorite sites is Just Watch, and you can search for any movie and it'll tell you where it's available.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can kind of plug in Annihilation, Sorry to Bother You, You Were Never First Reformed. It'll show you where it's streaming. So hopefully some of these, are just, you have either Amazon Prime or Hulu or Netflix or something like that. So you can kind of discover these smaller movies and enjoy them. I recommend, if you have a couple bucks to spend, I think it's like $5 a month, but it's part of your Amazon Prime. Like, you can subscribe to it as Shudder. Yeah. If you're into kind of the smaller, independent kind of horror-y movies, it might be worth the investment. You know what I mean? If you think movies like Mandy or Revenge or Summer of '84, a bunch of a lot of old school horror is on there. You know what I mean? So
$6 a month. Come on, you cheap bastards.
Get it.
Shell it out.
Support it. You know what I mean? But with that, I think we'll get on out of here.
Yeah, man. So this was a good one, though. I'm glad we had this chat.
Well, there you go. Well, hopefully you guys found some recs. Hopefully you're screaming at us. Leave us some comments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What did we forget? You know what I mean? There were a ton of movies that I wanted to see. Let me pull it up real
we should
quick.
Pull up a list of all the movies that we didn't. I can say off the top of my head, really wish I saw Bad Times at El Royale. Really wish I saw Suspiria. Really wish I saw Won't You Be My Neighbor. Clove Hitch Killer. Right?
Yep. Didn't see that. Yeah.
Fucking. Burning. Burning is
Didn't
supposed to be good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Supposed to be good. Unsane is one that I did see that I didn't include. But that's another one that's on Amazon Prime if you guys want to check that, with Claire Foy. Mid-90s, Suspiria, Destroyer's not out yet.
Yeah.
Mary Queen of Scots, I think, is kind of coming out like in the next day or two. Widows, I didn't get a chance to see. A Star is Born, sorry. Just not going to make it. Not enough time. Ain't nobody got time.
Yeah.
Vice, The Mule, Clove Hitch Killer, Green Book. There's some good ones out there that I didn't get to. But, Suspiria is probably,
I feel
like
that would have made our lists if we either of us
would have made the list for sure, probably. But, we just, hey, I live in a fairly big media market, and it just wasn't out here, dude. I don't know. I tried to go find it. I live within.
It came and went in like 3 weeks. That movie made no money. And the thing was, I kept on thinking like, oh yeah, I'll wait for it to come out at a second run theater. Like, none of the second run theaters even ran it. It just so I think it's going to be on Amazon Prime. They already say when you look it up on Amazon, like, will be on Amazon Prime in 2019. So I guess that means like February or something.
Yeah, it won't be long, but keep an eye out for that. So if there's so many damn movies. Yeah, there's so many.
Too many to keep up with.
Too many.
And Dave's got to do all the TV too. I mean,
oh god, dude, the TV.
How does he do it?
How do I do it? Indeed. But with that, thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate it. I know this one was long, but we just, there was a lot to cover, and we wanted to kind of
end of the
shout
year.
out. End of the year extravaganza. You know what I mean?
Blow it out, man.
Blow it out.
Yeah.
But thank you guys so much. Check us out on thedisorderly.com. I do a column called The Spotlight Monday through Friday. It's got the best stories, the best videos, the best tweets, best podcasts, all that kind of good stuff, whatever I find. We do a lot of different things with movie reviews and compare books to movies, things like that. So find it all on the site. Follow us on Twitter at Disorderly Media. Find us on Facebook at Disorderly ENT. And with that, thank you guys so much.
All right. Thanks, guys.